Monday night, 8:15 tonight, 8:15 p.m. Facebook and YouTube Live. How about you? How are you? Tonight we've got a special show, as this is the last Monday of the show during Women's History Month, and we just thought it would be a shame not to celebrate the women who have blazed trails. That's what I'm trying to say. Who have blazed trails in America and in our world society. And riding shotgun with me tonight is my girl, Miss Linda Scott. You know her from the Golden Square podcast, which you'll be looking for soon. And she's here. Miss Linda, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, so good. Thank you again for just keeping me from doing this solo. You should be being celebrated tonight. And thank you for hopping on. We still gonna celebrate you and the work that you do.
Okay.
You're gonna tell us all about it. Okay. Before tonight's show, we want to dedicate. Well, it's hard to say sad when you're talking about somebody as gregarious as Big George, but we dedicate tonight's dialogue with Dozie to the. Do I know my own name? To the beloved two times former heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, Mr. George Foreman. Foreman, as I said, was a two-time heavyweight champion. He was an Olympic medalist. He won the World Championship from Joe Frazier in 1973-74 on the night that President Johnson died. Now, what made it significant was that when Foreman won his gold medal, he walked around the ring holding an American flag. He was so proud and he was so grateful for his president, whom who had condoned the black athletes who believe it or not, we take these things for granted, were not as well appreciated in the Olympics. And President Lyndon Baines Johnson had totally affirmed our black American athletes. And George Foreman just proudly displayed that flag. He would later say that it was only ironic that he would win this championship on the night that the dearly beloved President Johnson departed. Foreman won the heavyweight champion against Joe Frazier, beating him in a very convincing fashion. Came back a few months later and defeated him in the rematch in similar convincing fashion. He would go on to fight Muhammad Ali a year or so later at the Rumble in the Jungle, which Ali coined the phrase the rope-a-dope, surprisingly beat Big George in the 8th round. Foreman, who had never known defeat in a boxing ring, took time off from boxing and tried to get his life back together. He endured depression. After going through the other half of all of that, he would become a beloved figure. He became a minister, forming his own pastorate out in Houston, Texas. And while there, George would decide to go back into boxing. And 20 years after he won the initial heavyweight champion, not the watered down version we got now, but in the list of all of those heavyweights, he got back into the ring and over Michael Moore, I think was his name. He knocked him out and became the heavyweight champion again. Good fortune followed George as Hulk Hogan would pass up. Was it Hulk Hogan? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would pass up an opportunity to market the grills that we all know now as the George Foreman grill, which he instantly made $300 million from and became that kind of a millionaire. He would lose the heavyweight champion title again and retire from boxing for good and became America's favorite pitchman. He was a beloved figure in our community and the world community at large. He even tried to talk Muhammad Ali into what we would call in our community become saved. Ali was a devout Black Muslim, and they just kind of left that conversation, and the two men became great friends. as men who in their own faith tradition served and gave God the praise. So the night it's hard to say sad, even though we didn't know Big George was on the way out of here. We celebrate him on so many fashions, and we send our condolences to his family. And Big George, thank you, man, for making this world a better place. Ms. Linda, that's your hometown or your town now, where he lives, and spend a little extra time on him because of just the great things that he meant to all of us. And
he was that, as they call that, gentle giant, and just as sweet and humble as you want to see someone. So I am so glad. I'm glad for his journey, because the legend that he showed us how you can fall and how you can get up. Yes. So he was a good guy. He was a good guy. He was a sweet guy. Let me say that, because I had the opportunity of meeting him. And I actually told him one time I wanted to be a boxer. He was like, "You can't be no boxer." Now you can't tell me what I can't be. But that's what I wanted to do at one time in my life. That was real. So but we just it was the laughter, and it was his smile. It was his smile.
Yeah, it just shows that that in this world you can always make a comeback, because as we said, he experienced a deep depression after losing to Ali at 74, which was our senior year in high school, and he would come back. He said he just hated that he lost that fight, because Ali knocked him down after he had dispensed all his power during the rope-a-dope. And while lying on the floor, he looked around and he thought his manager was telling him, "Don't get back up." And he probably was, because he got back up, Ali would have killed him, because he had no energy. And he had to regroup. And then he goes back and picks that glove back up. He finds Christ, and just good things started happening to him. And we just wow. I don't ever say gone too soon, because God determines that, and whenever he calls it, that's when it was supposed to happen.
Exactly.
But we just thank God that he made this world a better place. And like you said, thank you for his journey.
Yeah. So
Miss Linda's on with me.
Great women. Talk about these great women. That's what I want to talk about.
That's what she's on to. So tonight we're on to celebrate, and I'll tell you, this show started as we had a little video we're going to close the show out with tonight, and I was just going to do it as a tribute to women at the end of a show, another kind of show. And then when looking and reading and discovering, I said this would be atrocious not to honor women and dedicate a show to them. And this will keep Pastor Rhonda happy, because she told me, she said, you cannot spend a show talking about the orange clown and not talk about women. So even though we've been spotlighting women all month long, we want to give them a show tonight, and we're going to shout them out in any show we do, because they're just as much a part. You guys are just as much as part of history and the success of our society than anybody else. And so, Ms. Linda, you ready for this ride?
I'm ready. You're talking about great women. I'm ready.
Let me tell you how we're doing this tonight. Once I decided, and thanks to our dear Madam Producer, Miss Latoya Glenn, our oldest, once I started trying to decide, I was kind of beating my head. How do we make this happen? And then I started going through the list of great women achievers, and I wanted to have a mixture of old school, contemporary, black, white, international, and just just kind of give us feedback and comments tonight as we ride through this. And what we did was broke down women into 10 categories, and we're going to be challenged to get them in our allotted time. We're going to push it, and we broke them down into 10 categories. And the first category that we looked at is a little bit out of alphabetical order, but we're going to first look at women activists. And the first woman, and y'all have to help me pronounce her name. Her name is Malala Yousafzai. Malala Yousafzai. And this dear sister has taken upon herself, Linda, in the area of Pakistan and other Middle Eastern countries, to make sure that young women are protected from the violence that we kind of take for granted in our society, but they're not protecting many Middle Eastern nations. And she
Right.
turned her protection for them into educating them, making sure that they had education, so they were not relegated to being domestics and just being a second-class citizen to men, and that they are able to, they're marketable throughout society. And she's an activist, and she has worldwide attention. And we wanted to make sure she may not be as well known in the States, but we hopefully, one of the things we'll do with this show is make our audience aware of some of the women who may not be known nationally, internationally. So we salute her tonight and the work that she does with young ladies.
She's it's not like she's not recognized over here, because there are a lot of them here, and the abuse that they go through still, she still pushes her organization in the States as well. I've heard of her, and I think I've seen her. I'm trying to think what talk show that I've seen her on, but she's a strong woman. I can tell you that much. Let me say that. And you know, their family is strictly about the boys, about the men, and they pay no attention to the women at all. And as you just stated about her, they are women, are secondhand citizens, human beings. The dogs come before the women over there. So hats off to her and salute.
Thank you, and hopefully, our audience knows that my writing partner tonight is a strong woman who does things in her own right, and we're going to talk more about that at the halfway point of the show. She has dedicated her life to boosting the morale and the security, the inner security of plus size women. And I've been to some of her shows. We're gonna let her talk about the work that in her shows. Her work has expanded beyond that, and that's really a ministry. And you talked about George's journey. Our journeys, they may be strange. We didn't order them to happen the way they did, but God usually gets us where He wants us to be, so that we can accomplish our case. So we're gonna talk more about what you're doing in a second. Yeah. This next group of women, Ms. Linda, we always thought that it was one lady or maybe two ladies, but the founders of Black Lives Matter, 5 years ago, they had a very high profile with the George Floyd protests, and that's a whole new, with all I'm talking about partnering with Deborah Sharon and all of that. But these ladies, Alicia Garza, Patrice Cullors, and Opal Tometi, they founded a movement that was peaceful, but yet organized, and brought attention to social issues, particularly policemen killing Black people. In 2000 and the year 2020 is when we lost Ahmaud Arbery, we lost Breonna Taylor, we lost the biggest name was George Floyd, but there were many other people who lost their lives at the hand of policemen. And this group led millions across the whole world because of what they founded. Black Lives Matter, and our salute goes out to them.
And then that still is a big group. And as you stated, I don't like talking about number 47 because that my blood pressure go up. But wanting to pardon the police officer, but I think that was, again, that's a whole nother show, because to me and to others that I've been speaking with, that was just an invite so that they can get us out in the street and do some different things that they're not ready. They're not ready. Let me just say that you don't want to entertain us with this craziness. So I'm so happy for the young ladies and wishing them all the luck that they continue with Black Lives Matters, because we have to join in on that team as well.
And let us emphasize that their protests were all peaceful protests.
Yes.
They were. I remember when he was 45, he walked the street and had the National Guardsmen or somebody tear gas the area.
Yes.
and tried to went up, called itself holding a
Hold
Bible
the
upside,
Bible
a
upside
strong
down.
book upside down.
No,
What a complete disaster. And
right.
and tried to label Black Lives Matter as a subversive group, which they absolutely are not.
Are not. Yes.
They are peaceful protesters, and until otherwise, we still are a nation that allows protests. Even though Little Hitler here in Tallahassee has tried to limit our abilities to protest peacefully, we just thank God for sending a group like that to revitalize. And they led protests that caught fire across the whole world, the
Right.
whole world.
The
And
world.
we salute the Black Lives Matter team.
Yes.
Our next category is a field. I was going to make it aviation and science, but and shout out again to the Go Giga team and to our daughter Latoya Glenn for miraculously pulling all these graphics together. We wanted to some of these people you may not know, but by seeing them on pictures, they will indelibly be in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just going to limit this to aviation and not aviation and science. But the first one is Miss Sally Ride. Sally Ride was one of the first women astronauts to go into space, and of course we all know Christian McCullough, who
Right.
died in the unfortunate space journey, the Challenger.
Yeah.
Sally Ride had a very successful tenure as an American astronaut, and she's now, along with Mae Jemison, and we didn't feature her in this section because we're going to see her in the video, which is going to be very unique at the end of the show. But we salute. You know, it's amazing. It's that we even have to set aside and say women instead of just saying achievers. But we know, Linda, that in this society, we may be advanced over some other countries in the world, but women still don't get the recognition that's due them.
At all, period, point blank. I don't care what field you put us in. We always have to work extremely harder.
Yes.
And it is what it is. So I would love to keep the women, title instead of just saying achievers. Let the world know these are strong women who've taken place and doing different things. So women.
Emphasis on women.
Yeah.
Okay, in the aviation category, I'm sure if you our magazines, Jet and Ebony and what all those that we look forward to every month or every week. We don't. The internet has kind of taken those over. But and we know this was your profession at one time. If anybody knows and been following the internet, you would have seen a lot of all women crews and airliners.
Yeah.
And in spite the insanity that we heard just before this administration took over about DEI, before they even know who the controllers were or the pilots of those planes that crashed in the Potomac out in DC, we salute these ladies. You see them as pilots, and you see more and more. You get off of a plane, and you always want to kind of tip your head to the pilot, and now more and more we're seeing ladies. And they're proving that they can. That's not a man field only, but women can do that. They're just as smart and just as physically able to drive a 747. And my dear wife and I have done a couple of international flights over the last couple of years, and there have been some women pilots and co-pilots, and that's an exciting thing. They said, "Well, I didn't know it was a lady driving this plane."
Okay, so but why does it have to be a man's world? That's my question. Why it have to be a man's world? Why we can't just be, as you said earlier, let me be a human being with knowledge and beauty and class, and we can handle some things. Why we just can't, be in that number? Why we got to be all this other stuff? It's a man's world. A man in this, that's what a man's supposed to do.
I eat with a group of senior gentlemen on Mondays, and last week we got into an interesting conversation, and they said one of the guys said, well, what is that song? What's James Brown tell you? What does he say? He said it's a man's world, and he just went on. And they hear him and say we would be nothing. Women are our mothers, our wives, our sisters, our daughters, our aunties, And so we celebrate him. I should be on here with another male so we could just celebrate you. But thank you for being here tonight, because I know you're going to speak up for us. So the next category is athletics. The next category of women achievers, and just because you see one or two people depicted on the screen, you know we could go on and on talking about. Our daughter went to Tennessee State, and I think at one point she stayed in what's the young lady's name that the track star Wilma Rudolph. She stayed in Wilma Rudolph's dormitory at TSU. But we all know she's retired from the field of tennis. But you're talking about domination. Serena Williams, y'all.
Hey, all right. So that's it. And an athlete is the athlete. We still have to do the same thing that you all have to do. Get up in the morning. We got to go work out. But we got to take care of our children. We got to do all these things and still be champions. Come on now.
So the last image most of us have of Serena was at the Super Bowl, which I had my head down trying to look at the internet, anything other, because wasn't familiar with Kendrick, and I was trying to get over that halftime score. My Chiefs were getting beat down. Yeah, that's right, Mike. Althea Gibson. Thank you. We got loyal followers who throw out all these names. Anybody else, please feel free to list their names also.
Yes.
But the last time we saw Serena, what was she doing at that Super Bowl?
What's that? I don't do that dance. Whatever the dance was.
She was crip walking.
That's it. And they almost they tried to find her and all that for doing it on the tennis court. So she had opportunity. Kendrick gave it opportunity to do it now. Now what? Nobody can say anything. Well, they could say what they want to say, but it's nice. Why are we always judged? No, they shouldn't do this. They shouldn't do that. We can do anything that men could do.
Anybody else can do? Is that the best way to see
it? That's it. We can do it. And we can do it with a smile, because that's what she did. With a smile.
As you said earlier, she's beauty, grace, elegant, athletic, dominating, superior, Miss Serena Williams. Now,
that's it.
Now that nobody says it's just a black thing, it's racist, and any of that, Caitlin Clark came on the scene the last 2 years at the University of Iowa, and she did not disappoint last year in the WNBA. In fact, the combination of she and Angel Reese,
right?
And Caitlin was the rookie of the year, but between the two of them, they raised the bars that the TV ratings were compatible to some other sports. Maybe not as popular as the NBA, but I think the NHL and some other sports may have.
They were close though. They were close, Rev. They were close.
They were there. Yeah. And you know what it did? It raised their profile to the point where their salaries. My wife asked me a couple years ago how much the WNBA stars, and I was thinking people like Candace Parker and them probably $2 million. I was surprised to know. I was shocked. Not even $500,000. They had to make their money outside there. In fact, that's what happened to Brittany Griner. Yeah. She's playing over in Russia because she does not make enough money in the WNBA. So Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and others have raised the profile of that league to where their championship game was very high. The championship series was very, very high. And the New York Liberty won their first one. So Caitlin Clark, man, you can call it a Larry Bird of the W or whatever you want to call her. That sister can shoot that rock, and she got some about her.
It's so unfortunate that they tried to pin her and Angela against each other, and all they were doing was bringing the reality of women playing basketball, and one just as good as the other. You have to know what position that you're playing to know. Okay, well, Larry Bird did some crazy things, and then it was Dennis Rodman that did other things. So what's the difference right here? What's the difference? Haley gonna shoot that three, and Angela gonna do what? It all comes together that you all gonna look at TV, look at the WNBA, and go, dang, they doing all of that. Yes, we are. Now pay them, girls. for what
Yeah,
they
that's
were.
right. That's
That's
right. Yeah. Then there's a whole lot of people who are just waiting for the NBA season to be over so it can start looking at the W. And that
that's
wasn't always the case. And I'm one of those guys. I'm not rushing the end of my favorite sports season, but when it ends, when the Dubs, when the Warriors win that championship, when they win that championship, then I'm gonna be hustling over to catch the W throughout the summer. And
yeah.
Caitlin and Angel Reese and company. Yeah, in the Las Vegas, what are they, Aces? They're due to get back up at the top of the chart.
It's the excitement of the women. It's the excitement. And we bring on, I hate to say it, well, I don't hate to say it. We bring the excitement to whatever we play, whatever performance that we're doing. It's the excitement of, ooh, she ain't gonna be able to do it. Ooh, she did it, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
there, it's there. We
yeah.
bring it. We bring it.
Yeah, Mac, who's one of our faithful, he listed the Houston Comets. I don't think Houston is no longer in effect.
We
All
don't
right.
have we
Yeah.
don't.
So what was the sister's name that they when they came when the W inaugurated and they won like four straight?
Yeah,
I just saw her the
man,
other night.
the whole team is like,
Yeah,
oh
they
God,
dominated. Oh my
they
goodness.
did. And
Um, I was listening to, and we've kind of not seen Cheryl Miller for a
Mel,
while.
yeah, I just saw Cheryl.
Did you just see her? And
Yeah,
she's been on the
yeah,
news a lot lately, and she was talking about her and Cynthia Cooper. That's her name. How
yeah.
she and Cint were. I mean, they were rivals in every sense, and they were ready
Yeah,
to throw hands.
yeah.
And yeah. So yeah. Let's prop up the W. And in fact, before this season, maybe we can get you to come back on and let's do a lead into that on a sports show.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be absolutely great. I would love to. I need for your audience and my audience to know exactly what women do and
That's
how we do it. I told you with Grace. Grace is everything. Grace, everybody got a Grace. That's that twin. So that's what we do. We
that's
ain't
awesome.
gonna do a yeah, we ain't gonna do a whole lot of stuff. Doctors check it out.
That's so. My dear friend, Pastor Anthony Burrell is watching and checking us out tonight. We're celebrating women. Let's see if we can get a couple more categories in before we go to the break. I'm a little thrown off because I'm used to the break at the half hour mark, and it's more like the corner, the 45-minute mark. But we're going to see if we can get these other two. Let's look at the field of women achievers in the field of entrepreneurism. Entrepreneurism. I'm trying to say it. Entrepreneurism. Um, and we want to maybe label her as a journalist, a television personality. But when we talk about this field, we got to start out with Lady O, Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to. She actually opened the door for quite a few.
Yes.
Quite a okay, so I am a woman, true enough. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We open the door and say, come on in. Now we let you in. Now you got to do the rest of the work yourself. But we're going to open that door and allow you to come in. That's what Oprah did with many of people. And even to myself, because I look at her and go, okay, I can do that, Oprah. Oprah. I've learned different things from her. And just know I learned a lot from Oprah. A lot.
Well, she launched the OWN network a few years ago, and many of us were just affixed to the television series Greenleaf.
Mm.
Oprah took it back. She didn't extend it to I think it's fourth season. But that's what you have to do when you're on a network. You have to keep fresh shows on, and she at
Exactly.
least showed us how to do that. And
So, but say that part again because we get mad, and I'm not saying we, but you get mad because she could have let that go on and go on, but they don't understand the layout, the program, how you have to continue to keep the ball rolling. Greenleaf did a lot. Greenleaf have reruns, but she opened that door again. That's opening the door and letting you go in, and your season is over for
yes,
that season. So
yeah,
now these particular actors that you probably wouldn't have been paying a whole lot of attention to,
that's right.
gone on to do greater things. But again, what happened? She opened the door.
So when I was looking, doing a little research on this category, I was just shocked beyond measure to see that you'd be surprised. I think if we were talking about particularly Black women billionaires, the next person we probably think of would be Beyonce, but really it's not. It's Rihanna.
Right.
Rihanna is almost knocking on the door of Oprah, and most of that she parlayed her entertainment career into a was it makeup lines?
She has ne- uh what's called nightwear. I guess I don't wear it, huh? But her lingerie and all of that kind of stuff. Brianna has so many um, lanes that you just can't pinpoint just one. That's what make her that big person, because she wasn't just staying in the entertainment field, but let me go outside of that and create makeup, create stuff for the plus size girls, create a look, and she gave it to us too.
That's so awesome. Now, the next, making sure we're coloring all generations, all nationalities, and of course we're going to make sure we prop up our ladies in America. Kim Kardashian. And Kim Kardashian is a woman of great entrepreneurism, and she's also on all of those Fortune 500 lists of women who have parlayed makeup and so forth into billions. And of course, she cashed in on the celebrity. Yeah, absolutely, Madam C.J. Walker. And I had to just make an editorial decision not to wear our producer out with flooding with pictures, but she was the first person I thought of. She was one of the first, particularly in our vernacular. And while we're talking about that, there is a nationwide boycott. I haven't spoke much about that. We're like on Pastor Jamal Bryant's 40-day fast of Target, and yes. I hope that turns into more than 40 days. And but we're saying to our Black entrepreneurs who have their products in these stores that have been listed to be boycotted, if you go in those stores, if you must cross the threshold of their doors, go get those Black products. But please don't patronize them. And the Walden Company, Walmart is another one. And that's a lot of our favorite stores. And we got to make tough decisions. But I kind of go back to the fact that during the time of the Montgomery bus boycott, they made tough decisions.
Yes.
And because of that, they ended us sitting in the back of buses.
Exactly. And we have to hit these people where it hurts at.
That's right.
And if, as you stated, that you're going into Target, we got some bad Black designers in Target. That turned me on. Within the last 3 years, Tarjay was the girl. She was the girl because she had us in there. And I'm fortunate that we're going through what we're going through. But as you stated, let's go and patronize our Black-owned business that are in there, and come on out of there.
That's right.
Come on out of there, because they hurting. We hurting. I want us to continue to hurt.
Yes.
Ajay and all the rest of them. But if you got to go, like you said, go get our people, get their product, and come on out of there. That's it.
Yeah. So listen, just having a great time, lauding the successes of our women in America and abroad with my girl Linda Scott. We're gonna go to the break, and we're gonna come right back, and we're gonna let you talk about something that you're doing, and make sure that we shout you out during the break. We'll be right back. World.com, all of your virtual needs. I've been saying it now for 5 years because they've been covering all of our virtual needs. You saw some of the stars that they represent. You see how good they make them look. Now they got makeup. They got makeup artists like Sister Linda and all of them who really makes them look good. but they know the camera angles, they know the lighting, they know the sound checks, they know how to make an amateur like me presentable. I don't have natural beauty of a Miss Linda. I can't just come on any kind of way. They know how to make you look good. They will produce your work in grand fashion. That's gogigaworld.com. Hit them up on the net right now. Latoya, and Kia and the girls, they have put together an outstanding product. Web building, gogigaworld.com. Hit them up that night, all right? Listen, even though we are highlighting categories with women achievers tonight, we would be remiss in last week or week before last, we shouted out the team at gogigaworld.com. I wish there would have been a way I could have done that as a surprise and not have to have Toya and her team in on it to snag the pictures and stuff. But we shout those women out because of the work that they've done through the pandemic, and they have sustained beyond that. But we would be remiss tonight if we didn't shout out the former First Lady, Miss Michelle Obama. You talk about style, elegance, grace, beauty, intelligence, intellect. She's got it all wrapped up. She's married to undoubtedly one of the coolest guys on the planet, not just to ever be in the White House, one of the coolest guys. And she keeps him centered. And I just saw him in an interview a few weeks ago where he talked about just what she has meant into his life. But she has well represented our nation. She well represents our race. She well represents her profession, the law profession. Now she and her brother they're doing a joint podcast. That's where she needs to be, because her thoughts and ideals need to be out there inspiring young women of all races, creed, and all colors, because she knows how to be generic. She also knows where she comes from, south side of Chicago. So she's so centered, and she is just a role model and an inspiration to many. And the dialogue would be remiss if we didn't shout out Miss Michelle Obama, who is a superstar in her own right. Ms. Linda, we want to holler about her before we go on to you.
Listen, I'm so excited about her and her brother's podcast. It's not even funny. This woman right here is so real. There's nothing ever negative that you could say about her. No, that you shouldn't, because there's nothing about her that's negative. She is all the way live, and she brings it to you, the real deal, no sugarcoating it, with that same smile that you see on her face right now, with the smile on your face. And she's all about teaching every young lady to become a great woman.
Thank you. Listen, I got a great woman by my side tonight. A few weeks ago, I talked about my mother, my wife, my mother, our daughters, our granddaughters, our aunts, our cousins. And I just think that every woman ought to be honored for what they do to make us what we are. We can't say it any better than James Brown said. But Ms. Linda, tell us about some of the things you're doing, because you have been a great sister and an inspiration in your own right.
I wanted to talk about everybody else. I have an issue talking about myself, but anyway.
I can't get that a producer to come on and do it for you.
Oh my God. Okay, so everybody, if you know me, you know I wear several hats. And man, I don't even know how to talk about myself. It's crazy. But okay, so here's the thing. I just received another position, and that's the president of the Rose B. Johnson Colon Cancer Organization. And I am super proud of that. Yes, I changed everything this year because colon cancer, March is the colon cancer month. So by that being that month, and rodeo in Texas and all over the world is big in the month of March. So I decided that we would go Western instead of dressing up with your ball gowns and tuxedos. Let's relax. And the money that we raised that weekend, I am so proud and so honored with how everything went. Now I have another segment or journey as well. I'm back into the fashion. I was trying to get out of it, and We have a TV series that we're reality show. So all of that is going on. So I'm gonna hush a little bit about that until everything is together. So we'll be flying up to New York in a few seconds to do some things, and whatever I can do for anybody. That's it. I don't have one set journey of help. I am a giver, and I love what I do, and that's helping young ladies and young men develop to be more um, aware of themselves.
Well, hold the phone. You didn't say a few seconds you'll be flying tonight.
Yeah, in a little bit I'll be headed up on that East Coast, and then I have to go back over on the West Coast. So um, that that's a little bit about me. Rev, I hate talking about me because I do everything from my heart.
Well,
So
that's
I don't
awesome.
yeah, I don't look for um I don't know. Anyway, so that's what I do. How about that? I'm a runway coach. Um, I'm a jewelry maker. That I'm all of it. I'm all of it. I'm a Jackie of all trades.
She knows something about basketball too, y'all.
Yeah. I'm a former athlete, and actually, my mind it still say I can play basketball. It still say I can play softball, and then my body says, "Now, what you want me to do?"
Well, at least your mind still plays that trick on you. My mind says,
Yeah.
"Homeboy, don't even think it."
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get into your field a little bit, golf. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
what
I'm
we
I'm,
do.
I'm trying to find a little spot where I can put that in, and I would love to play golf now.
When age pops in on us, that's one of the things that to my dear friend Pastor Burrell, well, I ain't gonna say nothing tonight. I'm gonna leave you alone, okay? All right. Listen, back to our categories. Thank you, Ms. Linda. Back to our categories. This is a category that's near and dear to me, as because the scripture says, in fact, Jesus says, he or she who is greatest amongst you will be your servant.
Yeah.
And this next category is humanitarianism. Humanitarianism. I got it out, Mama. Humanitarianism. I know. Break it down and say it like that. And when I think about that, one of the heroes of just my overall life would have to be Mother Teresa.
Oh
We
yeah.
shouted her out a few
Yeah.
weeks ago, but I think it kind of starts with her as a true humanitarian. Now, before really before the cable TV explosion, those kind of things, before I knew Mother Teresa, there was one right in front of us who grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. Her name was Eartha M. White, Miss Eartha M. White, and we attended the same church. She was a humanitarian par excellence.
Mm.
She had the Clara White Mission, was located on Ashley Street in Jacksonville, which is likened to Sistrunk Avenue down here. And I don't know where it would be in Houston. Linda Harris.
Third ward.
Where's that?
It's somewhere over in third ward.
Third Ward. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So she right where she was strategically located, there's no such thing as homelessness or those kinds of things because she had facilities that took people in and helped people, fed people, nurtured people, and helped them to get back on the ground. So we didn't have black homelessness like you see that exists in our country today.
Right.
And not only did she have the mission center on Ashley Street over in the other part of town, she had a nursing home. I can't tell you how many beds it was, but our dear friend Pastor Diamond's mother was treated in that nursing home, and
Wow.
and across the street was her home where she did additional mission work. So in Jacksonville, people of needs were well taken care of because of this saint woman and the work that she did. And also, when we talk about humanitarianism, it's hard to not think of Princess Di.
Yeah.
Had it not been for her role as the Duchess of New York or wherever it was, and the security limitations, you see her there depicted with a young boy. She was more or less the mother of the adolescent or the childhood AIDS epidemic. she reached out and touched so many. And
Yeah.
these are my heroes. It's
Okay.
good to be an athlete, an entertainer, or all of these things. But those who work for the good of other humans, my heart always goes out to them. Okay, the next category would be journalism. Journalism. And I know, Linda, you probably gave me for this, Ms. Linda, but when we talk about journalists, man, you can't think about journalists without talking about Barbara Wawa. She blazed that trail.
Oh,
She blazed that trail. I know we got so many people
yeah.
out in front of us now, Jay Hud, Tamara Hall, and all of them. But
Yeah.
she parlayed her work as a journalist and started a program that's still on Facebook. Whoopi Goldberg, who has been around since the world was created. I'm just joking. Whoopi, Whoopi has been on The View a long time, and
Yeah.
people forget that was a Barbara Walters creation. And
Exactly.
as a journalist, I could not help but, just start this category without giving her props.
Shout outs. Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Amazing. Amazing woman. Amazing. You talking about sharing the wealth, sharing the love?
That's right.
Barbara did.
That's
She
right.
did.
And she just left us, about 2 years ago, didn't she?
About 3 years ago, I think.
About 3 years ago. She lived to a ripe old age, and we're just grateful for the contributions that she has made to humanity.
Yeah.
And there were others we could have shouted out, but I think in view of what has happened to her and her being just a brilliant journalist that she is first, I wanted to shout out Joanne Reed. Y'all told me not to say Joanne. That's her name, Joanne Reed. But
Joy Reed of the Readout.
Yes.
Yes.
Joy.
Go ahead, Reverend.
Go ahead. I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Joy is another one that made me say I can do the podcast.
Wow.
And when whatever network she was on let her go, that was the biggest audience that I had on my podcast when I shouted out to her that we, the women, 92% are with her and backing her. And the notes that I took watching her with so much grace and smiling and knowing her product. Man, this woman right here, y'all, she's amazing. She's amazing. She's full of life. And I'm glad to see her journey has changed. She didn't lie like the rest of them. She told the truth. So man, my hat's off to this lady. I love her.
And Ms. Linda, Joy does not get the credit for being just a brilliant scholar that she was. She actually went to Harvard University.
Correct.
And was a brilliant academic, scholarly achiever, and she parlayed that into a journalistic career. And when she went to MSNBC, which obviously you got one right wing network, and then you got MSNBC, which is far left wing. She was able to use the news with her humor and her brilliance to make a great presentation on weeknights at 7 p.m. And I got to the point where I kind of arranged my schedule that if I wasn't in front of the TV watching Joy's show, that it was being taped so I could see it later that night. And you, I gained so much from it. And,
it's the respect. She earned it. She required to have it. And if you're going to be in that field, journalist, what are you supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be telling us the truth about what's going forward. And some people can't handle the truth. That's all I'm going to say. Can't handle the truth. And she brought it with a smile.
I like the way you put that. I love the way Joy was a martyr for the cause. Yes. She first took a cutback in salary of a couple $1 million, and then they basically butchered her on a weekend. She and all of the minority ladies over at MSNBC, and she came back that Monday night on her last show with total elegance and grace.
She did, didn't she?
Yeah, it was just awesome. And inspiration for young journalists and young people as a whole. Yeah. And she will land well because she knows who she has her hand in the good Lord's hand, and she'll land well. In the field of poetry and the arts, I wanted to, I think, we wouldn't start out talking about that category without talking about Maya Angelou.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
what is it? The rock, the river, the tree.
Hey,
Uh, she
hey,
enhanced Bill Clinton's cool points 1,000% and really bridged racial gaps, helped to bridge those racial gaps for him because he thought he was a soul brother anyway. And
yeah.
her brilliance, her writing, and we know that performance, but her
And her
writing,
voice. Say her voice, because I'm gonna
just
tell
her
you something about
voice.
her voice.
She's the poet
Her
laureate
voice.
at the
Oh,
University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and just a awesome sister. And
yes.
she didn't come up in Ivy League training. She didn't come up with the silver spoon in her mouth. She had to know the rough side and make mistakes. And it guided her, using your word, her journey to
Yeah.
where she made so many of us better off
She
today.
did. She did. This is another one for me. Like all of these women you bring in is like, I love these women. Cause with her, not y'all don't send me no messages because I'm gonna say something to y'all. But anyway, to her, it was her voice and how deep it was. And when I would hear myself, I heard how deep my voice was. And I said, I can't do that. Could you hear me? I sound like a man. And when I heard her, I was like, I got this. Yes.
Yeah,
Good evening, world.
yeah,
And she just gave me that boost that I needed because
yes,
we all can find something negative about ourselves that
yes.
we don't like. But to hear her speak, oh my God, yes, sir, yes, sir. I'm in heaven with every woman that you done displayed already. I'm in heaven. I've got
Again, hats off to the Go Giga team because they pulled us off. We had some challenges and they worked through it, and it's just do it. We never know it, so we're so grateful. Um, I also, yeah, Max says the mask by Maya. The mask. We knew the Rock River in a tree. We knew about that poem, but she had books of poems that
yes,
that just a awesome inspiration to many of us in the world of arts. And we did a show a few weeks ago, Ms. Linda, on Black when we celebrated Black authors, and and she wrote many books. And in
many,
times like this, when they're banning our books,
yes,
look at these books and read these
mm,
poems and be inspired by them. Okay. Amanda Gorman is a young lady who found, and it's so funny because she was almost like a little girl when the picture that you see where she
yeah,
spoke at President Biden's inauguration and read an awesome poem of her own.
yes,
She's almost like a grown woman and just a awesome, and she's an inspiration to many of our
yes,
young poets of male and females, and
mm,
we certainly wanted to shout her out. And it's
amazing.
really, yeah. But
Wow.
you can't talk about poetry now, Miss Linda, unless you talk about Helen Keller. Now, this may be old school. This may
That
be
is old school, but she did it.
yeah. So we just looked at the movie Ray probably for the fourth or fifth time the other week, and it just kind of proved. And by the way, man, Jamie Foxx, just what a world class talent he is.
Yes,
Um, it just shows that when you don't have one sense or it's one thing is shut off, God enhances everything else.
right,
It is amazing how this blind lady was able to sense what was going on around her and to bless us like she did.
right. She's a perfect example of what you just said. It just a perfect example because we don't always we want to give up because my little finger popped off, but
Yes.
you
Yeah.
still got nine more. So
That's right.
don't give up. Just keep pushing. And hers was bigger than a little finger. Hers was her sight,
Yes. Yes. That's
and
right.
that just a testimony of how good God is, how He created us. So if you lose your sight, your hearing gets better.
Yes.
All of these things that He has done. You look at, I had to say Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, those guys, no sight, but boy, are they bad.
Man.
What? So that's God's testimony. That's talking about how great He does.
I could come back and tell you some things that's coming out about Stevie not really being fully blind and driving trucks and that kind of stuff. But that's another show. We won't do that
Right,
tonight.
right.
Thank you, Mac, for just sending me that performance. Maybe we just tried to keep it low on some of the things that we're doing that is not over where our team tonight. But thank you so much. You just sent a beautiful performance of Miss Maya Angelou performing
Wow.
a poem. So we one of the persons that we didn't shout out in this forum, we don't have a picture right now, but Mother Mary McLeod Bethune,
Oh yeah.
who would have definitely been listed as a humanitarian and an educator and all of those things. We recently looked at the movie 688, I think is the name of the Tyler Perry joint.
Yes.
And he emphasized Mother Bethune's influence on President Roosevelt in activating that all Black female troop who could not go to war, who went over and got that meal and
did what we did.
Yes.
Yes.
And I worked in Daytona for a while. I even chauffeured the President Bethune-Cookman, and just had just a total affinity for what she did and how she dedicated her life to making things better for others. We go to the field of singers, and I got to tell you this story. We were ride with the grandkids the other day, and the wife asked one of the grandkids something about a Taylor Swift song, and his name happens to be Dozell. He said, "Nan, I can't tell you because I'm not a Swiftie." And so we want to shout out because of how she has taken how Taylor Swift has taken her singing career and parlayed into just billions and reached out to so many other fields. She's like Madonna before her. What an awesome marketeer she is for her brand. And, I don't know any of her songs. I know her because
I'm like your grandson. I'm not a Swiftie, but there's other areas that you could talk about her. But she's done some things. Or not done. She's doing some things. She's getting that number 47 all riled up.
Yeah. Listen, he can't get around her billions now, can he?
He can't.
And of course, we could not talk about female singers and not talk about Queen Bee.
Yes.
Yeah.
What you say, Houston, third ward? Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So you got a lot of your people profile here tonight, did you?
Yes, that's it. She's the queen. That's all you can say. There's nothing else. What else you gonna say? She's the queen. She's the queen.
We get ready to go back into your third ward again in just a second. Mac talked about Mahalia and Aretha. Mac, we had to just make decisions, man, because there are just so many women singers in our vernacular. Patty and all of them. All of them. Diana.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Call a roll.
Lena Horne.
Horne.
So many. I don't know where you go. It's so many of these women that you just have to, like you said, pick one or two. And if you pick one or two, somebody can say you forgot this one. So it's hard when you're dealing with people's names and carrying them. But everybody is correct. All these women are everything. And as I said, B is the queen now in this generation. So we'll just let that be. But she had to pass over Mahalia Jackson, and she had to get past Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight and all of those girls. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. So we move to the field of politics.
Ooh.
And you may not agree with the selections, and that's all right. Just let us know. And we couldn't get everybody, but thanks again to the Go Giga team, we got about 4 people that we highlighted in this category. And the first one is Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth. Now, you all may not know Tammy's story. Tammy lost her limbs over in the Gulf War,
Yep.
and she's on one of the committees that interviewed one of those clowns that orange idiot, I mean the
Yeah.
orange president
Yeah.
nominated for secretarial position, and
Uh,
she questioned him with just relevant questions.
exactly.
And of course the right said that it was an attack on that person, but she has just been a
Boy.
defender of our
That's,
rights, and,
that's
she
yeah.
stuck up for veterans, and we certainly want to shout her out. And
Please.
one of the first women in the United States Senate in modern day was Carrie Mosley Braun, who we were living, passing up in that area in Illinois, and now for Tammy Duckworth to have that seat. The next one, here we go back to H-Town again in Clutch City. I think I'm right. Maybe I'm not. Maybe she's not. But
Let's see who it
yeah,
is.
yeah, sure. Just put her up on the screen. Toy. Oh, okay, no. So I think we may be out of sequence. I
Right.
was thinking of. So this is Margaret Thatcher. This was
Right.
not only a politician but statesman. She's like one of the first women prime ministers of of England, and
England. Yeah.
we were over there at the end of the year, and I wanted to go by whatever number Downing Street there was, so much to see what people like herself had worked. But she ran that country with the I won't say iron fist, but nobody disrespected her because she was a woman. In other
Right.
words,
Right.
she served while Ronald Reagan was the president of the United States, and they were a good team of statesmen, unlike what we got going on now.
Mm.
So we honor her. And the next week, I'm trying to get to her. The next lady, Madam Producer, this because I've lost some names here. Oh, Jasmine Crockett. Let's see Lady
Jasmine is from Dallas, but we 3 to 4 hours away from each other, but it still stays the same. It stands the same. That girl right there, I'm voting for her. She run for president. She got my vote. I'm on the trail every time she move. I'm gonna be right there with her. A powerful young lady. Powerful young lady.
She has been in their faces, and I think a couple of months back she coined a phrase. I can't repeat because I can't think of it, but it's something that described Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. Marjorie, she knows she ain't forgot.
Yeah, she knows she had forgot. She described she had a depiction of her body that was quite flattering. Not flattering, quite humorous.
Yeah,
quite humorous. And then one lady, she referred to as child, is what we do, just in our vernacular. And this right wing Republican woman,
she wanted to take it outside, but
she didn't want to do that, Ms. Linda.
Yeah, no, she didn't. But here's the reason why she didn't want to do it is because Jasmine wouldn't have had to do anything. She wouldn't have had to have done nothing but say, I'm going outside, and everybody would have been there to protect her. She'd have got whooped. I'm sorry, y'all, but it would have happened just like that.
She would have gotten that beat down she was asking for, because she was asking for it.
Of course, without a doubt.
Asking for it. So
I love the way Jasmine handles all of them, and it's just like my grandmother used to say back in the day, how you whoop them with a smile on your face and you started writing down what I'm getting ready to say. That girl is amazing. I'm president. She run for president. I'm there.
Well, she's a rising star for the rights of the common people, and we certainly salute her. And we could not talk about women in the field of politics and not salute her. Now, this next person is, a lot of people have concerns about her because she ran for president. She didn't win. Well, it wasn't because of hers, because America showed that we're still a race. We're still a misogynistic nation, and that was 2016 Democratic nominee Miss Hillary Clinton, who was as qualified to be president as anybody, and certainly more so than the person who defeated her in 2016. Yeah. And she was the first person. She started Obamacare by presenting the first edition of it, and then in 2008, the Obama team picked it up and ran, and it became a reality. But we want to shout out and show our appreciation for the work that Ms. Clinton has done
Yeah.
for our nation. It's just a shame, and we could not talk about her without talking about our recent nominee, who was as qualified as anybody, having been won a state election out in California as the state's attorney general, been a local prosecutor, then the U.S. senator, and then the vice president of the United States, and the first woman of color to run for president as the nominee of a major party, and she didn't lose by many. And the person who beat her did not get a majority vote. He just
Okay.
won more votes.
Now you're making my hair. You see my hair standing on my head. It's standing up. The woman didn't lose. And I know we got somebody in the house that said apparently she did lose, but she gave it all in how many months? She
Yes,
ran through everything. She told everybody how it was going to work. She never lied because she was a woman, not was, is a woman.
yes,
Because she's a Black woman.
yes,
For whatever reason, outside of number 47 going to jail, they had to rig this thing up so that she
yes,
wouldn't, because it was all in her hands. She had everybody for her, with her, until it was rigged.
yes,
And
yes,
it was just crazy. And it's still crazy. But what can we do other than fight now and vote now? This should have taught all of us a lesson.
yes.
Every vote
Counts.
counts.
Yes, ma'am.
You can't go by, oh no, well, I don't want to vote for a woman. Your mother, because I almost said something real. Your mother, your mother is a
I want
woman.
to say your mama.
Okay. Your mother, your grandmother, your sister, and I know you say auntie somebody. Those are women
Yeah.
that you go to and you ask advice from. Why she can't do it?
Yes. Yes.
Why? So we
Yeah.
gotta vote. Real, that's a sensitive um area for me. Let me say it
For
like
many
that.
of us. For many of
Yeah,
us.
yeah. It took me mentally, it just took me down. And
Yeah.
and that's why I hadn't moved in that area again, because it took me and everybody else down. It took me down. It beat me. And I had people calling, Miss Linda, but what happened? Hey, the numbers don't add up. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing I can do. We just got to wait until the end.
Yeah.
But we got to vote, people. We got to vote. I can't say
Yes.
that enough. I can't stress it
Yes.
enough. We have to vote for everything. And then Florida, April 1st. I'm not sure if South Florida is voting, but I know parts of Florida is voting. And we got to get those things out. Y'all got to go vote. You got to go vote for whatever y'all got to vote for. Vote for it so we can get this stuff together.
Well, let me just say this. Um, God blessed me to leave the country and just help me get away from the news to help survive all of that. And we shout her out because
Yeah.
she made us all proud.
Yeah.
And the fact that America is still a racist, misogynistic nation is not her fault because
Right.
she was
Right.
prepared. We certainly won't be going through the chaos we're going through now. We'll
Right.
see her again.
Yes, we will.
We'll see her
Yes, we
again.
will.
So our last category, yes,
Yeah.
so we don't get so sentimental talking about November
Right.
5th. Our last category is in the field of television. And how could you ever talk about women in television and not talk about this lady?
Lucille Ball. Yes. Ricky.
Ricky Ricardo.
Yes.
You know what was so funny looking at the old black and white? Here comes here's Lucy. What was it called? The Lucille Ball
Lucille
show.
Ball show. No, that was I Love Lucy was her show. Her
I
and then,
love Lucy.
and
Yes.
yeah, I Love Lucy. Then she did have the Lucille Ball show after that.
You know what was absolutely hilarious was hearing Ricky laughing in the background, or her husband laughing in the background of the jokes as the show was being shot, recorded or live. You'd hear him laughing in the background. That was just absolutely
Yeah.
hilarious.
She was
Just
amazing.
Yes, she was.
She
Yes,
was.
she was.
She was amazing.
And in this new school, she burst on the scene as a rapper. She's had her own television series, which was a comedy with your girl, Miss Kim Fields on there. Is Queen Latifah, and
Oh, look how beautiful she is.
yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous. And the Queen her own show was in Living Color. I remember when she made her
Yeah.
first foray into TV, guest starring on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air.
Yep.
She was funny on there, and then her own show. And now we look at her faithfully as an equalizer.
Isn't she amazing on there?
Absolutely,
Wow. If you
absolutely.
haven't seen her, y'all need to go do it. That's amazing.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. All right. Well, listen, this is just awesome, Ms. London. I hate to tell the audience that you agreed, you consented to be with us at what hour? Probably 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock this evening, or something like that.
That is
This
crazy.
could this couldn't have gone better.
Wow.
Couldn't have gone better. You and the Go Giga team, y'all are absolutely awesome, and I'm so grateful, so grateful for you being here
Florida
tonight.
Evans. Yeah.
Yeah, Florida Evans. Yes, Florida Evans. Who man?
Exactly.
She is local for us down here. She lived right in Pompano,
Oh, yeah.
and one of our dear friends was part of her eulogy team. Minister Derek Gay.
Okay.
He sang for her homegoing, and
Mm.
man, she turned out to be a very elegant looking sister. We didn't see her
I
after Good
know.
Times much on
Yeah.
TV, but she just
She
turned out
was
to be.
still saying, damn, damn,
Yeah.
damn.
So and after James left Good Times, we needed another. We didn't need to lose her, and she's
Mm-mm.
still there's a viral video going on YouTube where she's telling the producers, "No, we're not doing that. We're not
Yeah.
going to let him act like that." And she
Yeah.
kind of carried the ball for what James eventually
Yeah.
left the show for.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, Mac, for that. Ms. Linda,
Yeah.
anything you want to say for you, son? We love and appreciate you, sis.
I love being here. You know, you always just have to call me a little quicker than what you did, but you always could call me. I'm always going to be here for you. As long as God give me breath, I'm yours.
Thank you,
So
sis.
that's all I can say. We're going to leave it right there. And I love you and I love my family. I got the best producer in the whole wide world. Y'all want a good one, get for you. Holla at her. So
we do that. That's right.
that's all
That's
I
right.
want to say. That's it. That's it.
Listen, Ms. Lynn, I know you're on your way to coming back with us, part of the Go Giga team. And when you get ready to come back, we want you to talk about your show on this show so that we can throw our viewers your way on Thursday night if that's where you return.
Okay, that's my night, 7 p.m. Central Time and 8 o'clock Eastern. All right, so I will be returning, and as I stated, I thank you all so very much for believing and trusting in me that you give me this chance to sit with you.
Thank you, sis. God bless. We love and appreciate you here.
All right.
Hey, Dozie Land, as I see it, as Ms. Linda said, and we've stated in here, where would we be if there were not ladies? Our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, our grandmothers. A lot of us were raised by big mamas. My dear wife of nearly 47 years, it's 46, 47, somewhere. We've known each other many years. Our daughters, one who produces this show, Miss Toya, and our grandchildren, our granddaughters. Where would this world be without women? It's just a darn shame that in 2025, they still have to walk in certain societies as second-class citizens. We just presented to you an array of ladies who were symbols for many of hundreds of thousands who operate in the same fields that they did. We couldn't pack into the confines of this show, but we are so grateful for the contributions of women. And listen, just like we said at the end of Black History Month, we're going to always celebrate women on this show and on the Go Giga Network as long as we have breath, like Miss Linda said. We're going to close the show out tonight with a video, and it's narrated by children, but it has a popular message. Next week, We're either going to do a hot button show or it's going to be the 5th anniversary show of Dialogue with Dozie. It may take us a minute to prepare for that, but we would be nothing without the Max and the Bernards and the Tonys and all of you who are with us all the time. We'll be back here next Monday night. Good Lord saying so, 8 p.m. Eastern, YouTube, Facebook Live. We love you.
Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, time to recognize. Time to recognize. Okay, I have a word for you. Suffrage, S-U-F-F-R-A-G-E, means the right to vote. Hundreds of years in our country, women were told no, and that they should stay silent when it came to how our country was run. Not until 1920 did they change the Constitution. Sojourner Truth and Susan B. Anthony, yes to women's rights and no to slavery. All of the suffragettes were an example of bravery. For years they organized, their power grew and grew, and women got that right to vote. So you know it's true that women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, time to recognize. Time to recognize. Okay, here's another word. Equal, E-Q-U-A-L, as great as, to the same degree. Ruth Bader Ginsburg fought for gender equality. This amazing lawyer was a justice on the Court Supreme with a really cool nickname, the Notorious RBG. Women all around us who support civil liberties see what's out of balance in our laws and our communities. Then they jump into action and use their words to create unity. Their passion stirs inside, all can rejoice. The greatest tool of a woman is her voice. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, time to recognize. Time to recognize. All right, check this one. Global, G-L-O-B-A-L, means the world entirely. Women all around the globe are also making history. Like Greta Thunberg, who is Swedish and at age 15 made the world see that we have to keep our earth healthy. Keep on learning their names. One thing is a guarantee. Women near and far and everywhere are making history. And they inspire us to become all that we can be. It feels so good to shout it out. There is no doubt that women are what? Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, time to recognize. Time to recognize. All right, one more. Vital, V-I-T-A-L, means necessary in our lives. Without women, there'd be no you or me. They're why we're alive. Moms, grandmas, guardians, aunts, sisters, cousins, friends, too. Shout out to all the great women all around you. They could be scientists, farmers, CEOs, architects, bankers, technicians, teachers, artists, doctors, nurses, engineers, coders, politicians. Let your gratitude for all they do. Great women of the world, we thank you. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, yeah. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. You can't mistake their impact on our lives. Women are history makers, movers and shakers. Groundbreakers, time to recognize. Now we recognize.